Greetings everybody. So I guess this demo it's technically sort of like a continuation, like a part 2 of Nick's demo, because it's basically like a little bit more detailed way to do another screen. Okay, so this is the start. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and run it and just so you guys can see what it looks like starting, because it does have some good stuff. So it does have a home screen that does that. Very fun. Okay, so today we're going to be doing a settings button. I'll make this a little bit bigger. Okay. So I have a gut feeling that as I go through my bells and whistles journey, a settings button isn't going to be the only type of button I'm going to need. So we're going to create a new file, and we're going to call it buttons. Okay, and we're going to need to import SwiftUI. Okay, so we're going to have to create a settings button, obviously, so we're going to go to our friend SF Symbols, and we're going to see if there's something on there that could maybe help us out a little bit. Okay, so it doesn't look like there's a settings button, but the settings button sort of looks like a gear, so let's see if they have a gear. Would you look at that? So we're going to use this to be like the basis of our button. Okay, so we're going to need a struct settings button.
Do you need some lights on this, Catherine?
No, I'm okay. Okay. I know it doesn't. Hang on. Our body. It's going to be some view. Okay. So it's system. No, it's image, not system. Image, system name. No, I don't want that. I just want regular gear. Okay. And then, yeah, we can do that, but we'll make the font a little bit bigger. We'll make it something like 40. Okay. That should be good for that. So now we need to call it somewhere. So we're going to go into our content view. Let me see. And we're going to put this in the screen because I want it to go like up in the top right hand corner where you typically have a settings button. So we're going to we have our solution shown, so we're going to do an H stack here, and we're going to put it next to where like the little mastermind thing is. Okay. So now we're going to call settings button. Nope. Okay. That should be right. Let's see if this does what we wanted it to do. Would you look at that? Doesn't do anything yet, but it's there. Okay. So.
Did you have any special spacing to put it there? It looked like things were kind of aligned to the left a little bit.
I don't think so.
No, it's just a regular horizontal stack?
Yeah, just regular H stack. Okay. So, but basically what I want to happen is when you click on the settings button, that it takes you to a new screen. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to create that new screen. So we have to create basically a new view that's gonna be our settings view. So we're just gonna call it settings view. Again, this isn't anything that new. This is basically like what Nick did in his demo. View. Text, and we're gonna have the text just say, we're not gonna, obviously there'll be stuff in it eventually, but for now it's just gonna say settings. And then, and we'll make the font like really big. Something like, I don't know, 100 should be good. Okay, so now we have this screen. It doesn't do anything yet, but now we need to make it do stuff. That's a terrible description. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna comment this out. We're just gonna leave it out for now. And we're gonna do that navigation link thing. So, link. Yes, thank you, that is very helpful. And now we're just gonna inside, because you have like for the navigation links, you have your destination, and then inside the brackets is basically like your path, so how you get there. So we're gonna have it be settings button. Okay. Let me see. Yes, that should be right. Okay. Let's see what we have now. Oh, that's awful. Okay, hang on. I know how to fix this. Give me a second. Okay, that should hopefully fix that. Okay, let's try this again. Much better. So with this, I'm having like a lot of the same problem that Alex was having with the timer about it being like clickable only underneath, which it does what we want it to, but like if you actually click like up here or anything, it doesn't do anything, which is ridiculously annoying. But also, we in theory want the settings button to not only be here, but to have one on the home screen too, because normally like when you're on an app, the settings button is consistent. So I think we need a little bit of help here. So let's go to our friend. Let's see. Okay. So let's just see. Swift UI, how to make a settings button. Spelling is hard, guys. Show up at the top of all screens. So then we get something, I don't know why this is shaped so weird. Nope. So we get a suggestion for something called a toolbar, which actually turns out to be quite useful. But this is having us combine a toolbar with a bunch of other stuff, and it's making it a bit more complicated than what it needs to be. So what I ended up doing was I just ended up doing UI, how to use toolbar. Toolbar. And it says you must use it with a navigation stack, okay? And then it's pretty simple, so you just have it and then you put your button inside the brackets of the toolbar. So let's try and do this. Okay. So we're gonna put this back in the content view. So what we're gonna do is we want the toolbar to show up like to the right directly next to where the word mastermind is. So that's the solution function. So we're gonna go under the solution function and we're gonna do .toolbar. And then settings button. Okay. And we're gonna take this out for now also. So we see we have our settings toolbar up here, but you notice when you click on it, it doesn't do anything. And the reason it doesn't do anything is because we don't have the navigation stack in there. So what I learned that you can do, which is really interesting, is, well, first what I did was, again, ask our friend. Again, this thing is my best friend. Okay. How to put a navigation link in a structure SwiftUI. Because I did not realize that you could do this. I mean, it makes sense that you can do this, but that you can actually put like these navigation stacks within like a structure. I mean, I guess it makes sense that you can do it because it's a content view, but you can actually do it inside structures. I don't know why I didn't realize that, but so what we're gonna do is we're gonna change our button, and what we're actually going to do is do our navigation link. Nope. We're gonna link to settings view. Okay. And then we're going to do label. I know, I'm getting it. Chill. Label. Something called label. And then that is where we, again, like remake our button, which I probably shouldn't have deleted that. Image, system name. And we're actually going to make the font size on this a little bit smaller because you saw like the settings gear was not fully in the range. So 27 I found to be the magic number. And then okay. Let me make sure I have this right. Okay. So now we actually have our navigation link inside of our structure, which is really interesting is when you have a navigation link, you don't need an on-tap gesture. It automatically puts it in there. So now we have this. And it's way nicer because you can click anywhere you want and it's not annoying. But we also want it to show up here on our home screen too. So what we need to do is we need to go back into our content view. Okay. And we need to go into our actual content view in, yeah, here's probably an okay place to do it. You can put it pretty much anywhere where you like stack it. Let me see exactly where I put it. Okay. Content view. We'll put it next to our title mastermind. So it's the same exact thing, dot toolbar. And then settings button. And again, then the link is automatically built in to the settings button, so you don't have to keep calling navigation link over and over again. So now we have, you can go to your settings from your home screen, and you can go to your settings from your main screen. So that's about all I have for that. Any questions?
For your bells and whistles, are you planning to actually fill in some settings that they
Yeah.
can pick and choose?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's where our timer will be, like the timer of turn
Yes.
on,
Mhm.
turn
Turn on,
down,
turn on.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That probably like the play again button, the reset button, the colorblind mode, like all that stuff, all those toggles will be somewhere in the settings menu. Like I said, right now it just says settings, but there'll be some goodies in there.
Anybody else have any questions?
Which I would like to, in a perfect world, I would like to have it work, figure out like why it's not letting you click it. But for now, I think it actually kind of looks a little bit cuter with like the little toolbar menu.
Oh, I like the blue.
Yeah.
It's consistent too.
And you can like layer, there's a part of the toolbar where you can layer things so you can have multiple things, like multiple toolbar buttons. It's really cool.
Interesting, interesting.
And cut.